Name is Melanie. And sorry, let me get rid of all these things on my screen. Let's start over. Hello, I'm Melanie Mirzayan. I'm the owner of Wild Bakes and Cakes, located here in Texas. And today's class, first of all, thank you guys for joining me. I know sometimes it's hard, kind of like middle of the day to do these classes, but thank you for being here. Today's class is going to be super fun. We are going to make pull-out cupcake cakes, which is they're one of my favorite things to do for like kids' birthdays because it's really easy to make. You can definitely be super creative and do all kinds of fun things with it. And the cleanup and the serving is also super easy. It's just, kids come and they grab their cupcakes, they take it apart, and they're good to go. So with that said, let's go down to the top-down camera and kind of go over all the stuff we're going to need for the class. Great, thank you so much. All right. So for this class, because it's October and it's Halloween, one of my favorite holidays, I wanted to do something kind of cute and spooky. So we're gonna try and do a fun, crazy looking monster cake, okay? And again, this is just for Halloween, but this technique, once you guys actually learn the basic steps of how to do this, then you can be as creative as you want for all, like I said, for all the birthday parties. You can make them, princess cakes, you can make them superhero cakes, and it's really, really fun. All right. And obviously you're going to need your cupcakes. And before you start doing these projects, obviously you have to have a theme and kind of know what you're going to be doing and how many cupcakes you're actually going to need. Okay. For this one, I just went ahead with our 12 cupcakes, and you can add more if you want it to be, if you have like a lot of kids or a lot of people at the party and you want this to be a bigger cake, then obviously you're going to need to, have more cupcakes. And online, they have, I know some places they have like templates that you can download that will show you how many cupcakes you need and the positioning of all the cupcakes. Okay. For this one, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to get as creative as you want. I kind of did mine in a circular kind of shape. The key is to make sure that you don't have a lot of huge gaps between your cupcakes. Okay. So you're going to need a cake base of some sort, either a square one or a round one. Obviously, you want it to be big enough to kind of hold all of your cupcakes in there. Okay. Sometimes if you're going to be transporting these things to like another location, you can kind of not glue, but the double-sided tapes, you can kind of put a little bit here and make sure that they stick on to your board and they don't move around as much. Okay. So that's like a little bit of tips and tricks there. If you guys have any questions throughout the class, please put it in the chat, and Nicoria will definitely help me kind of navigate through the questions and kind of the comments and stuff. Okay. And if anything comes up after class and you want to ask any questions or any comments, or if you need any patterns that I can help you guys with, you can get a hold of me on my Instagram page, which is Wild Bakes. That's kind of the best way to get a hold of me. Okay. All right. So if you guys are following along, get your cupcakes out and your board, your cake board, and position your cupcakes any way you would like to. Again, for this specific look and feel, there's no right or wrong way of positioning your cupcakes. Sometimes for my son's birthday, I made a super Spider-Man cupcake. And for that one, you had to align kind of the cupcakes a certain way to make sure you get the face right. So again, when it becomes something very specific, you can download templates for that, or just visually, if you're super creative, you can visually just kind of, look at the picture and say, okay, this is kind of where I want to place my cupcakes. Okay. So go ahead and place your cupcakes any way you guys would like to. Just make sure they are nice and snug and we don't have, no, move some of these things around. Okay, so you don't have a lot of huge gaps in between your cupcakes. Okay, that's kind of important. All right, so once that's done, we're gonna get our buttercream ready. Again, these things are super easy. They're kind of super fast if you're making things, you know, a simple design. That's why I love making them. All right, so we have our buttercream. Obviously, we start with white. And I wanted to show you guys a couple coloring techniques, okay? So for this one, we are going to need green. Obviously, you guys can do whatever color you want. I'm gonna go with green. We're gonna need to save some of the white for our eyes and for the teeth of the monster, okay? And then the black. So for the black one, Michaels carries these little pouches for different, they have different colors. They have like the oranges, the blacks, the purples, and I've used them once and they're actually pretty good when you are trying to do like the more saturated colors like the blacks and the reds, because they're so hard to get your buttercream to turn into those colors. Then you end up using a lot of your black color, and then sometimes it doesn't even get to the shade that you really want. Okay, so sometimes with the smaller projects, for this one, obviously we're just doing the mouth and couple dots for the eyeballs. So something like this would be perfect. Okay, but we're gonna use, obviously we need a lot of green, so we're gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my buttercream for the eyes and the teeth that we're going to have to do. Right, so I'm just going to get a little bit because we don't need a lot for that. All right. And now for the rest, we're going to give it a nice, fun green color or whatever color you guys would prefer. Okay. So these little food coloring like jars, I guess you would call them. Michael's has like all kinds of different colors. They even have like the green one that you can buy, but they also have, if you're doing a lot of projects like this, I recommend getting the complete packet that has all the primary colors. And the cool thing is they also give you like a cheat sheet like this, and it'll tell you, you know, if you want to get this kind of purple shade, these are the colors you're going to need, and those are the amount of drops you're going to have to put in to achieve this color. Okay, so you can definitely customize the exact shade of color that you're looking for. Okay, because sometimes if it's something very specific, like the pinks and the greens and things like that, it's hard to find that specific shade in these drops. Okay, so for today's green, this is recommending 25 drops of yellow and 3 drops of blue. All right, so we're gonna do that and see what we get. And before I get started with the drops, they also, I know Michael's has them because I got it from there. They have the gel coloring as well. Okay, and the gel ones, I'll show you real quick. These are kind of cool.
Hi, Melanie. We have a
Yes,
question.
yes.
Could you use Fondant for some of the decorations? For example, the eyes or the mouth?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can have total fun with this. That would actually probably be a little bit more cleaner if you do it that way. I just chose to kind of go completely buttercream for this class, but yeah, absolutely. You can roll out, you know, your white fondant and then cut your circles for, you know, the black fondant for the little dots. You can, you know, shape at the mouth that you like. And once you can even probably cover your entire, I wouldn't do that, like cover the entire cupcake with fondant, because the goal is, you know, cupcakes frosting kind of concept. So once you actually buttercream the entire background, you can definitely use fondant for your decorations. That's actually great. All right. So yeah, so for the gel, and what you would use for that is just toothpicks, right? So you just kind of stick your toothpick in there and then put the color and kind of give it a good mix. All right, just a side note. Okay, so we're gonna get our green color ready to go. So I need 25 drops of yellow. Let's do this. Okay. I'm counting. 5, okay. And then 3 drops of blue. Let's see what we get. I've actually done a lot of color matching from this little handy dandy tool kit, and it works great. All right, so I'm gonna give it a good mix. And obviously, if you have like a mixer, you would use that to mix in the color. But for this class, I'm just gonna use my spatula. If you guys are following along, just go ahead and get your color ready to go. It's actually turning out to be a very cool green color. This is very nice. Pretty. All right, make sure it's all incorporated nicely in there. Yeah, and these colors, guys, they're very saturated and a little bit goes a long way. All right, just if you guys have never worked with them before, and they stain like literally everything. Your fingers will be stained for days. I usually, when I use them and I get some on my hands, my son makes fun of me. She's like, were you baking again? I'm like, how can you tell? All right. Make sure this is all nicely incorporated. And this actually looks really cute. Fun green color. All right, if you guys have your colors all ready to go, make sure I got the bottom white. All right, now we're gonna put them in our piping bags and get started. So for the piping bag, for the bigger batch, you wanna go with a larger bag, which is the 16-inch, because you need the room to be able to pipe your cupcakes, okay? Clean up a little bit here. All right, so we're gonna do our base first, and our base is obviously, for mine, it's green, okay? And the easiest way to get your buttercream in your piping bag is using one of, tall glass or even plastic cups are awesome. All right, I'm gonna get my bag. And for this, you don't need any tips. All you need is your bag, and then we're gonna cut a little bit off, and we're gonna start frosting our cupcake, okay? Ultimately, you probably don't even need the bag. You can just, with a spatula, get the buttercream on your cupcakes and then smooth it out. For me, it's easier to use a bag because then I have a little bit more control over where I'm putting the buttercream, okay? I'm gonna put the bag in here and kind of have the sides go over like that. Okay. And I'm gonna get my buttercream all the way in there. Okay. Make sure you get a lot in there because you're gonna need a whole bunch of this to get the base onto your cupcakes. All right, get it all in there. And you guys can refill this, obviously, if we run out halfway through. That's happened to me before. Okay, I think I might have enough in there. All right, so now get your buttercream kind of all the way down to the bottom. And then we're gonna cut our bag to be able to pipe. All right. So you don't want to cut too much where everything just falls out, and you don't want to go too small where you're struggling to get the buttercream out. Okay, so just kind of like a midpoint, enough where enough is coming out, but it's not pouring out. Okay, so just right about there. And you can always go higher if your first cup doesn't work, right? Maybe we'll go here. All right. And then just get a good handle on your bag. It's pretty big and heavy. So again, with the thumb and the fingers, and then you twist, 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 and you get a nice good grip. Okay. Oh, it's starting to come out. So now the goal is to start piping kind of like the outside of your cupcakes like this, and then slowly filling it in. Okay. So let's do this. And some will probably fall off to the side. That's okay. And we can kind of smooth it out later. Okay. But try to keep it on your cupcakes when you're starting. And start slow and just kind of do your outline. You're going to go over the holes, which is okay. Right? Where you're staying on your cupcake. And you're putting not a lot, but a good chunk of it on, because we need some to be able to scrape and smooth it out. All right. And then now I'm just gonna fill it in. Just like that. And this is why it's easier to use the bag than trying to plop on the frosting. But if that's easier for you, then by all means, you know, do whatever works best for you. There's no obviously right or wrong. You just want to make sure you're covering all your cupcakes. Okay. Get it all on there. All right. So now we're going to use our curved spatula and we're going to smooth this out. Okay. So you're just gently smoothing the layers, the surface, sorry. Just like that. Slowly. And if you get a little bit and you just want to clean it off so you can have a smoother surface. All right, so just go ahead and smooth this out as much as you can. All right. Sometimes what you could do too, if you want it to be like super straight, you can do your first coat and put it in the fridge for about, 5 to 10 minutes, and then put a second coat, obviously not as thick, and smooth it out. And that will help to get it smoother kind of surface. Okay.
Hey, Melanie, we have a few questions.
Yes.
The first would be, is it possible to make this with whipped cream?
Probably not, because whipped cream is very airy and it will just kind of fall between the cracks and it won't look good, unfortunately. I mean, you could give it a try, but I don't think it would work as well.
Thank you. And then the second question is, one second. Meringue. Would Swiss meringue buttercream work on this project?
That one, I think so. Yes, it should. Because
Thank you so much.
it's got the same consistency. So the goal is for it to be something that's a little bit thicker, because if it's kind of airy and fluffy, it kind of falls through the holes of your cupcake and it doesn't give you this nice surface, okay? That's kind of the whole point. And when you're making your buttercreams, you want it to be not like super thick, but you don't want it to be super on the fluffy side either, light for that purpose. So you can get kind of a nice smooth surface that holds, right? Nothing like falls in and falls from the sides. All right. So I think mine looks pretty good. And if you have frosting that kind of fell off to the side or your cupcakes are not covered, you can go back and kind of get more frosting and then start smoothing it in, right? Just to cover all the portions that are showing. And if it's on the side with your spatula, you can kind of smooth it out like this as well. Okay, all the way through. So I see a little bit portion of mine sticking out. So I'm gonna cover that up just like that. And everything is just smooth and easy. Okay, just like that. All right. So now we have our cool surface ready to go. And then you kind of decide, you're like, okay, I want my eyes to be here, or my eyes are going to be here, my mouth's going to be there. Let's do that just because, yeah, this way. Okay, so I have a bigger area for my mouth, okay? So now we're going to create the mouth. And for your mouth, it's however you want your monster to look, okay? If you want it to have like a weird mouth, then we're going to do that. If you want it to be nice and smiley, or if it's frowning, totally up to you, okay? And this is where we're going to use the black fondant and kind of just outline the mouth that you want, and then fill it in, and then we're going to smooth it with our smaller curved spatula, okay? So I'm actually going to test this out a little bit, because sometimes weird oils come out of it, and I don't want it to go on my cake. Check this out. Okay. Yeah, see, you get a little bit like weird oils that come out, and that's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but try it in a separate bowl or whatever before you start doing your cake, because you don't want to mess it up. Okay. So now I'm just going to draw my mouth. I think I want my mouth to kind of be wide like that. And then end it there. Okay. So once you have your mouth outlined, then kind of the same concept, go ahead and fill it in. And this is why the tube's easy, because you can just squeeze it out. And it's the same, I mean, it's the same concept as a piping bag, right? Okay. Let's just fill in the mouth. And then we're going to smooth it out. All right. Just want to make sure I'm getting all the areas that are kind of showing. All right. So now I'm going to use this, and gently and slowly, I'm going to smooth this out, okay? Just like that. And you want to stay within, obviously, the circle or the outline you just drew to keep the shape that you started with. All right, so just kind of smooth it over until you cover all the little areas that are showing. And there we go. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So now we are going to draw the little teeth and then the eyes, okay? So we're gonna start with our piping bag, and we're gonna start with the teeth. So we're gonna cut a smaller hole, all right? I'll show you in a second. Get my piping bag out of this thing. It's stuck. Move this over. Okay, I need my handy dandy cup. And if you had, if you were working with fondant, I'm going back to the earlier question, you would cut out your mouth, obviously with your fondant, whatever shape you want. And once you have already buttercreamed the base of your cupcake, then you would put your mouth there. And then, you know, you can use either white fondant for the teeth, just cut little spiky looking things out, or you can use buttercream. All right. I'm going to put my white in here. All right. So I got my white buttercream. I'm going to push it all the way down. And because the teeth are going to be kind of smaller and spikier, I'm going to cut a smaller hole. Okay. And once I'm done with the teeth kind of all the way around, then I'm going to go a little bit bigger to be able to do the eyes. All right. Okay. I'm going to make my first cut. Probably right off the tip right there. Okay. I'm gonna squeeze it out and see how much is it coming out. I might need, well, I think I can make that work. Yeah, you want it to be small enough so you have nice control over making smaller little dots or lines or whatever it is that you're doing, okay? I'm gonna cut a little bit more just because that was, okay. So for the teeth, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm gonna do straight, I'm gonna squeeze, pull it down and let go, okay? So mine are gonna be super kind of like sharp teeth, okay? So you start from the top, you squeeze and you bring it down and pull. And you can space them out however you want. You can make them longer, you can make them shorter. You can kind of do whatever you wanna do. At the end of the day, this is your cake. Okay, do that. And I'm going to do some at the bottom. Same thing, pull it up like that. All right. I think that's good enough. Let's see. That looks good and scary, right? All right. And then we're going to do our eyes. So I'm going to wipe this off. So now we're going to cut a bigger hole to be able to squeeze the circles for the eyes. Okay, you don't want to go too high, but just a little bit bigger so you have a little bit more control over that. Okay, it's kind of like that. And you decide, you know, if you want your monster to have 3 eyeballs, you want it to have 2 eyeballs, you want one big, one small. It's totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to do one big one over here. So you just kind of squeeze. You guys can see that, squeeze, and then draw a circle for whatever size you want the eyeball to be. Fill it in. Okay, now we're going to smooth that out. And then our second eyeball, same thing. Okay, I'm going to maybe make this one a little bit bigger. Just like that. I'm going to fill it in. All right. And again, with your spatula, make sure it's clean. And we're going to smooth that out too. And again, if you're working with fondant, obviously you would be cutting circles for the eyes, right? Kind of smooth it out nice and gently. All right, just like that. Okay, now we need the little black dots in there. You can go back to this guy and just kind of squeeze. Make sure you guys see that. Squeeze the eye. See, got a little bit juicy there. Gosh, I'm gonna clean that up. Yeah, that's why it's always important for us to, you know, test these things out before we actually squeeze them in there. But, you know, things happen, and luckily we have enough white where we can fix this up. Okay. I'm just cleaning up the mess I just made. Let me get a little bit more white on there. All right, that's the good thing. It's like you can mess things up, but then you can fix it, which is awesome. There's no need to panic. So I learned my lesson. I'm gonna squeeze it in like a paper towel or something, get all the juices out. God, that's kind of weird. All right. So I'm going to redo the eye there and then here. All right. So we've got our little eyes set. Let me see if I can smooth maybe some of that out.
Hey, Melanie, we have a question.
Yes.
Can you buy the big candy eyes if you don't want to pipe it on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those are actually very fun. I have one, I think kind of fell in my little, obviously this is really small, but they have different sizes you can use. Oops, I'm totally messing up this eye. All right, so we got the eyes. Now we are going to fill in kind of fun little sprinkles in his mouth just to give it a little bit more pop of color. And then we're gonna go back and outline the lips, okay? I'm just gonna put in some of this on there. You can get very creative. You can put like animals, maybe tiny little animals coming out or little worms, the gummy worms, you know, those are really fun. You could do stuff like that. All right. So now we're going to outline the lips and same concept. You just need your bag with your green color. And this one, we're not going to cut too thick, thick enough to kind of how thick we want the lips to be. Okay. I have a little bit more green left, so I'm going to put that in there in the new bag. You can definitely maybe give it a different color for the lips. That's totally up to you. Make it even more crazy looking. All right. I have this in a bag. I'm going to get it all nice and ready so I can pipe in my lips. Okay. All right. Squeeze in. So guys, the goal for this class, it was primarily to kind of show you guys how these pull out cupcake cakes are made. And once you know the concept, then it becomes so cool to come up with your own fun ideas, right? Because the process is exactly the same as what we did here. It's just we decorated it to make it look like a monster. You guys can do whatever you want. All right, so now we're gonna cut a little bit off because I don't want it to have like too fat lips, but you know, fat enough. So you can kind of choose how big you want that to be. All right, and all we're gonna do, we're gonna start with from one corner and just slowly outline the outside of our lips. Okay, kind of outside and half inside because you want to cover, kind of go over the edge, right? So the teeth and all that black is being hidden under the lips. Okay. So I'm going to start from this corner and I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to pipe it on there, covering all the black. All right.
Hey, Melanie, we have a few questions.
Yes.
The first question is about the tonic water. Would we be using that and what will we use it for?
Oh, yes. I was going to save that for the fun ending. So the tonic water is natural glow in the dark kind of solution, believe it or not. And it's obviously edible. And what you can do with that, we're not going to be able to do it in this class, unfortunately, because you, at the end of the day, you're going to need a black light to be able to see it. But the cool thing is you can mix the tonic water in within your white buttercream or any of the buttercream that you want it to glow in the dark. So you mix it in there before you pipe it, or you can actually kind of put some over the eyes, okay, and let it sit for a minute. Then you're gonna, if you're doing it, if you're pouring it over the eyes and it's not already incorporated in the buttercream, you have to make sure, you know, you go slow so it doesn't start pouring out, you know, off the eyeball. And once you get some of it on there, the key is to put your cake back in the fridge and make sure it's nice and cold. And when you turn off all the lights and turn on your black light, any place that you use the tonic water will glow in the dark. Okay, it's super cool, it's super fun. Give it a try. If you guys end up doing that technique, I would love to see what you guys come up with. So send me a picture or tag me Wild Bakes, just so I see what you guys did. Okay, but that's kind of a fun little twist on what you could do with your cake, especially for like Halloween. It doesn't necessarily have to be Halloween to do a glow in the dark cake. Okay, you can pour it inside his mouth. And let it cool, right? And you don't, obviously you don't want to pour a lot. You just want to go gently, just kind of squeeze some on there. Let it get nice and cold and turn on the black light and all of that will glow. All right. Does that kind of answer that question?
Yes, and then we have a few more. The
Yes.
second one is the sprinkle mix that you're using. It's out of stock for some. Is there anything else you would recommend?
Oh yeah, I mean they have, I grabbed this from Michael's when all the Halloween stuff was coming out. It's so crazy how like we're not even Halloween and all these things are like sold out, right? But essentially you would use whatever you like, right? I know they have different kind of sprinkles, that's not necessarily Halloween themed, but you can either mix and match. You can literally do whatever it is that, you know, you would prefer. Use different colors in there, just to make it more fun. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this blend. Okay, you can be super creative and come up with your own mix if you want to. I know this one has like the greens, the purples, and the blacks. And if you really, really like this, you can buy these guys separately. You know, so buy the green separate, the purple separate, and then just mix it up. Okay, if that's exactly what you wanted to use. All right.
Alrighty, that
Any
sounds good. And then the third question is, how much tonic water would you put in the buttercream?
For the buttercream, it's okay. So when you're making your buttercream and you have to utilize either water or milk, right, to get it the consistency that you want. So that's the amount of tonic water you would use in your buttercream. So I believe if you're making like one simple batch with just 1 cup of butter, it's usually, I want to say 2 tablespoons. But then again, you know, you have to kind of, it's trial and error as far as how much you put in there, because if you put, let's say, you know, 3 tablespoons in there in one batch and your buttercream is like super soft and you can't do anything with it, then that doesn't make sense, right? So I would say replace whatever liquid it is that you're putting in to your buttercream with the tonic water. And if you don't want to incorporate it in your buttercream, like I said, you know, if you get a little bit of it in like a little cup or something, and like with those little droppers, you can kind of like do some drops, you know, on the eyeball or whatever it is that you're doing, and make sure it's like it's sitting on top of it and it's kind of covering the whole thing. Because if you use like a spoon or anything and just kind of like pour it on there, it definitely will run off, right? I mean, it would give a cool kind of look with the, you know, the lines coming off, and those would all glow in the dark. So it's just something fun for you guys to try on your own and see what you can and can't do. But technically, you know, the best option would be put it in your buttercream when you're making it. And then once you have it all set up, I would go ahead and put some even on top over it just to give it that extra pop of brightness. Okay. Any other questions on that?
No questions for now. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. All right, and we have our fun little spider. And this guy, I'm just gonna have it sit right there to make it look even more creepy. All right, but that's kind of a pretty much, step by step how you would do a pull-out cupcake. And the fun part is when this is ready to go and you're done with the birthday party or whatever it is, all you have to do is just grab the cupcakes from the side and take any piece that you want and eat it. Okay, so that's kind of the cool thing about this, where it doesn't get too messy. You don't have to cut slices of the cake and serve it that way. Kids can kind of come up and grab their cupcakes and just pull them and go. It's super fun. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I hope you enjoyed this class. I know this was kind of short and sweet, going through the steps to make something fun for Halloween. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach me on Wild Bakes after class. I'll be more than happy to help you guys there. The class is recorded, so you guys can go back within, I think, 24 hours and watch it again if you missed a step. Okay. My next class is next week, and we are making mummy pies, either blueberry pies or cherry pies. And so that'll be really fun. So if you guys are interested in something like that, the class is next week. Go ahead and sign up now. And thank you for joining me today. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye, everybody.